My name is Ali Walter. I'm the executive director and the founder for King of King Multi-Investment and Consultancy Firm. King of King Multi-Investment and Consultancy Firm is a private sector actor company uh, championing production, uh, climate smart farming, marketing and value chain in Uganda and the entire part of northern region. Uh, we are here trying to promote horticulture project as part of the challenge we are trying to face in relation to climate change. Our farmers, as you can see, we are trying to do and putting goat blanket, and this goat blanket under farming goat ways is what we do. Other people call it mulching. We are trying to cover this tomatoes plantation so that the sun heat should not touch the soil direct. So we are trying to promote the best agronomic conservation farming so that our farmers learn from here. Why do we start this project? We have started this project because of the factors of climate change, where our farmers, they are trying to uh, plant crops, but they cannot get the yield because of drought, which is happening here. This prolonged drought here has affected plantation and our enterprise here. Like maize, people cannot get the exact people, and it causes food insecurity in the household. And most of these farmers, they are suffering, and some of them, they have started going to stone hardcore quarry where they are breaking stone to earn their living as a socio-economic livelihood activities. But for us, we are trying to change their mindset toward this. As we did the feasibility study, cost-benefit analysis, we learned that this tomatoes plantation of this nature, 1 acre, you can harvest up to 70 to 80 boxes, of which each box here is locally sold at 400,000. So if you multiply, you could realize that you have got about 35 to 40 million shillings in 1 acre. And yet when you go to the quarantine side where people are trying to do quarrying on the other side there, in an entire month they can raise something like at most they can get like 200,000. But this plantation, it can be only within 3 months you will start harvesting tomatoes. And you know, tomatoes is consumed throughout the value chain. There are many people who are doing hotel work. There are many people who are doing pork joint. So tomatoes raw you can eat, and nothing like any food cooked without tomatoes. So tomatoes is center in all food value chain. So it is a very important and very interesting enterprise that we are trying to promote to help the people who have been affected by climate change. And this is one of the adaptation and resilient mechanism and the solution that is durable that we feel if most of the community around here will turn their mindset and they venture into tomatoes production. You can see is climate smart farming because it also contributes a lot into air by producing enough oxygen, which in turn reduce cutting trees, reduce this environmental degradation, which affect in the long run our climate pattern. So I really here as a director trying to promote this innovation as one of the support toward climate change. We can take a look at how these women are suffering, trying to pick the stone, the hard stone, break them, and make it into hardcore, into Lincoln for the construction of houses in town. Omu got a chile adi.
Kain in the favor seal a lipier there.
Monomuko for it.
Mukone free.
Go
And a penetara lipier pig up on Mutaka.
Now, no dolly Pierre Bor.
Pierre Paul.
I can't charge no chile adi.
Got any kids, Yarrow, it's all one air, mutter, no penny. Kikele wa Mutaka. Kikele Mutaka, keep it all guard. Kick it all guard. Kiram Bachania lip me a rio capiara pit. Come on, lip me a rio capiara pit, and only. Pop over 1 week ago. Which all 1 month in it. I cram kill well lip me a seal capiara paw.
No more can no Jomo Kelo.
No, we are not to Mukayoko.
So,
near Pierre Porni, put a piano, made a fine the poor Jamaica bag on him. Pa.
You don't give me a Pierre Bear.
Near Pierre Piani, Trevor couldn't find it. Beat Conan put on Siana doing. Trevor Conan don't keep and then the beat. Look at one, no me, I tell the Pierre this year.
Near Pierre Richard, out of me, two very cost. Make go got a Pierre Bor. So you don't only Pierre Bor again.
Can you cook you, baby, Papa?
Children, when you know, it do a chill, Romano, Chile, in 1 month.
Gianna only para.
It do a chill, Romo go a trip a day.
Ah, look at the paper. Look at the chill, no ticket trip. I see. Not chew, but not a bar. Wangamotako, oh, you there are metal carman,
Children, when you need it do a chill, Romo go a naked day.
It was care, look care.
I don't have a care on a team attack, Romo go a day.
Ah, Jama take care of my bear, man, not tickle to teach Mamma in my bear. Caramo go got to a seal, no run photo, no go trip and when.
Ah, catch all you'll go down. You don't go a trip a day.
And care, Pammy can
go trip a day.
Ah, Mother quite to a seal, Penny Messian, baby Jenny down on your book, Jenna Mutas a pair.
Yeah, these are a group of women and they are trying to look for their socio-economic activities that can make them earn a living as a result of these climate change adaptation strategies. They are trying to create these activities of quarry or core breaking stone, of which every month they can spend like 80,000 breaking. The stone alone is 30,000 and making people to break it into smaller particles so that if they fill a tipper can cost another 50,000. At the end of it all, for them to get 170,000 for one trip, they can spend like 80,000 as a cost of making these things. And at the end of it, you will realize that they have remained with 80,000. And for them, they are incapacitated. They cannot make even 4 trips in a month. At least in a month, they can make like 2 trips. In that regard, the total monthly income they can get in a month is above 160 as a net profit. But when you try to convert it into 3 months, you will realize that in the entire 3 months, which is the 3/4 of the year, they can realize they have made something like 500 or 600,000. But when you go to horticulture project, where we took you for the first time, after 3 months, you can harvest up to 40 million. So we are trying to change their mindset so that they leave the hardcore production and they go for the actual plantations of tomatoes, leaving this activity, which is very hectic. On top of that, it is coupled with a lot of damage because injury can happen here. You'll find that these stones that they are breaking can even spinch in their eyes and can cause injury, and in the long run, they lost their sight. So we are trying to encourage these women. There are so many women groups. There are so many women who are suffering as a result of climate change in this area, which has affected the socio-economic activities. So their socio-economic livelihood activity now is hardcore quarantine, which in a long run, it will degrade the environment and will affect the environment gradually. Because there's this one alone, you can see it is going to cause a lot of soil erosion, which can remove and affect the environment. Not only that, it can even be like the hostile environment for insects. some reptile like snakes can also be here and can bite people. And is in many cases there are people, when we go the other side there are men that were swinged down by this stone. As they are breaking the stone eat them, and one last man died because of this. Tega muko ka mukche chore biro gan
itu mana ni ngan mai nge ni có người được không nge gan
nge ni tega muk
ni kun có bao tên cho mệt chứ mà gan này cari apa ni có bao tên.
Every trip they remove a stone, they pay 30,000 shillings. But now we want to talk to them and change their mindset so that they go for agricultural activities, so that they change their mindset, and they have been doing this as part of socio-economic activity to make them cope up out of this climate change. So this drought has affected their farming last season. Their household is empty. They don't have food stock. They don't have money to pay school fees. For that matter, it has enforced them to go for these quarry activities where they are trying to remove this stone, and they are paid for it. But now, this year 2022, this year of our Lord 2022, we want to change their mindset so that they go to the agricultural activities and they do these dry spell farming activities of tomatoes plantation. So I'm glad to have them around here. We are trying to talk. As you can see, they are trying to remove this stone, and it's a very hard task for them. But now we are trying to say no. At the end of this, though we are going to build, they are going to get a very little money. But when when we encourage them to go for agricultural activities where they do these tomatoes plantation through climate smart farming, they can change their livelihood activities and they can change their dignity. They can also come out of this risk where people can also, the stone can eat them and have killed some of the people here. So we are trying to encourage them and change their mindset. Thank you so much.